We may be seated. As our rules are, please ensure your phones are on silent, and then we minimize movement before we start. I'm sure we're live now, so we'll start up with the protocols and the introductions. Our resource person for today, the Honorable Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs, Imaan Sulaiman Ibrahim, FSI. We also duly recognize most of our senior special assistants, personal assistants, and also other advisors to Mr. President, both present and some of them who are watching us online. Due to some extenuating circumstances that we have, we do not have most of them seated here because, as we know, Mr. President is out on a trip, and we also have other pressing issues that most of them are attending to, so they are all well recognized. Before we proceed, may I also recognize the following heads of members of delegation accompanying the Honorable Federal Commissioner for this briefing today. We have the Acting Director, Human Resource Management, Bello M. Bello. Deputy Director, IDPs Department, Musa Kangiwa. Titus Muda Kai, Head Refugee Affairs Department. Brenda Abia, Community Service Head. Then the Chief of Staff to the Honorable Federal Commissioner, Grace Ubong. Permit me to acknowledge the presence of the directors and also heads of departments accompanying the Federal Commissioner for this briefing today. On behalf of the Presidential Communications team, I humbly welcome you to the 42nd of the State House briefing. This is the 42nd session that's organized by the Presidential Communications team. Now, in line with the current efforts of President Muhammad Buhari-led administration to ensure that the issue of humanitarian challenges in Nigeria are nipped in the bud, the State House briefing for today, Thursday, 7th July 2022, would focus on the current status of the efforts being made by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs, NCFRMI, in the management of the refugee situation in Nigeria. You may recall that we had received some briefings on the issue of Nigeria's humanitarian issues and also efforts being made to manage them by the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development on this platform earlier this year. And today, to further highlight other key strides being made by the Commission under the Ministry, the Honorable Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs would make a presentation to the media. Her presentation will last for about 25 minutes, after which we would take questions solely based on this presentation and also issues pertaining to the Commission. Having established the protocol and also completed the introduction, it is my honor to invite the Honorable Federal Commissioner, Imaan Sulaiman Ibrahim, to the podium for her presentation.
Good morning. The State House media team, the Presidential Communication team, my colleagues, Team NCFRMI, distinguished members of the press, it is an honor for me to welcome you to this 42nd State House media briefing with the theme, The Journey So Far, the Future of Durable Solutions for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons in Nigeria. My name is Imaan Sulaiman Ibrahim, Honorable Federal Commissioner, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. The National Commission for Refugee, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, NCFRMI, was established by the Decree 52 of 1989, now CAP N21, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, NCFR Act. The NCFR Act incorporated the 1951 United Nations Convention relating to the status of refugees, its 1967 protocols, and the 1969 Organization of African Union Convention governing specific aspects of refugee problems in Africa. This together forms the guide to the protection of management of asylum seekers and refugees in Nigeria. The mandate of the Commission was later expanded to provide protection and assistance to all persons of concern, which covers the IDPs, the returnees, the migrants, and people at the risk of becoming stateless. The Commission is under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development, under the able leadership of our Honorable Minister, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk Sadiq. We operate around these 4 mandate areas. We coordinate the national action for the protection and assistance of refugees and asylum seekers in Nigeria. So we're the lead agency for migration management, working with other key stakeholders. We coordinate migration management in Nigeria, being the lead agency and the custodians of the national policy on migration. We also work alongside other stakeholders. We also coordinate, we also lead the coordination for the return, readmission, and reintegration in Nigeria. Also the custodians of the SOP on RRR. Also, we work strongly and closely with other stakeholders. And then the 4th mandate area being the coordination of durable solutions for internally displaced persons in Nigeria. Being the lead agency, we also work alongside other stakeholders with every level of government, the state government, the local government, and also the host communities. So let's clearly highlight who these persons of concerns are. When we say persons of concerns, we refer to people, the refugees, we refer to the asylum seekers, the migrants, the IDPs, returnees, and also people at the risk of becoming stateless. I'll take you to the statistics of persons of concerns in Nigeria. According to the UNHCR Matrix Index, we have 3.2 million IDPs in Nigeria. And under the Progress V4 platform, which we run with the UNHCR, we've been able to register 84,803 refugees in Nigeria. We have 1,570 asylum seekers, over 7,000 urban refugees. We've been able to voluntarily return about 70,334 Nigerians back home. And during the recent evacuation, we've been able to record 1,625 returnees, evacuees from the Ukraine-Russian war. Okay, let's talk about the causes of displacement in Nigeria. Mainly, it is induced by not just man-made, but also natural disaster. And we all know that global warming is real. Most of our IDPs live within host communities. And if you look at this map, you can see the distribution of IDPs in Nigeria. The Commission is set to deliver the objectives of the 2017 roadmap through the implementation of the Project 5S, which is our renewed vision. The first S is to strengthen internal framework of the organization through training, capacity building, strengthening our work tools and our skill set and tool sets. It is very important that we're ready for these challenges. So the more we know, the more we can do, the better we can be able to respond swiftly and more appropriately. The second S being streamlining existing data. I'm sure we are all aware that it's impossible to achieve on high scores without clean data. So this process is ongoing, it's active, because with data we can plan better, we can budget, we can monitor and evaluate, and we can be able to take better decisions. The third is being the standardization of digital smart commission. So we'd like to, comply with the federal government directives for every commission to go smart. So we have submitted our plan to the NIDA. It's also an ongoing process. Most of our work is field-based. With a smart commission, we can work from anywhere. This process will also afford us a scoreboard so that everybody can access the scoreboard according to their level of needs for proper data referencing. The fourth S being sustainable and durable solution, which is one of our core-mandate areas. So this will enable that the Commission offers tailored fit interventions for people, and we ensure that it's sustainable because it's in line with their skills and their interest. And the last but not the least of our 5 S's is the strategic partnership for resource mobilization. I'm sure you agree with me that no government can address humanitarian challenges on their own. We have to continue to partner intentionally with whole of government, whole of system, whole of society, and that's what we continue to do. So far, we partner with a lot of organizations, from the UNHCR to the IOMs, to the security agencies, the armed forces. NIDA, we've had close collaboration recently with them. We collaborate closely with the NIS, especially in areas of refugee management and migration management. Also the National Agency for the Great Green Wall, because they address issues of natural disasters, NEMA, and other sister agencies within the ministry, and also the private sectors, and also the diplomatic community like the Qatar Embassy and the UAE. I'd like to move to the scoreboard so that I can highlight achievements of the Commission for persons of concerns. In our refugee management and asylum management area, we've worked very closely with the refugees to be able to record successes. First of all, we have to congratulate ourselves. Nigeria has a working refugee management system. It's robust. So we've been able to honor our pledge towards the 1951 convention. We also have a working data management system, the Progress V4, where we register, process refugees. We've been also able to introduce the conventional travel document in collaboration with the Nigerian Immigration Service. This affords refugees the freedom of movement. Also, we've signed a tripartite agreement with the Republic of Cameroon to repatriate Nigerians there, Nigerian refugees in Cameroon. And we have an ongoing agreement with Niger to also sign a tripartite agreement for repatriations of the Nigerians in Niger Republic. In partnership with the UNHCR and other stakeholders, we have successfully validated the Global Compact for Refugees and its roadmap towards effective implementation of the Nigerian GCR pledges in December last year. We ensure that we consistently hold town hall meetings to sensitize and discuss with our refugees. Also, in collaboration with the UNHCR, we have facilitated the signing of the declaration of 4 cities in Nigeria as refugee-friendly cities, making Lagos the 287th refugee-friendly city in the world. These cities are Calabar, Benue, FCT, and Lagos, being the most recent one. Migration management. Our migration scenario is very complex. Nigeria remains a country of source, transit, and destination. But I'm proud to say that in 2015, we validated a national migration policy, which is about to undergo review. And it also came with an implementation plan. Most policies, once validated, they are kept on the shelf and they gather dust. But this one is being implemented because it came with an implementation plan. The Commission has been coordinating the Migration Technical Working Group for validation of the Global Compact for Migration. We also have a validated SOP on return, readmission, and reintegration that guides every stakeholders on their role. The Commission, in collaboration with other relevant government agencies and international bodies, facilitated a safe return of Nigerians from Poland, Hungary, Romania, Russia. The recent evacuation from the Russia and Ukraine war. The Commission also facilitated the voluntary repatriations of irregular migrants in collaboration with the IOM from Libya, Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, bringing the number to about 16,318. For IDPs, in provision of durable solution, because that is the role we play for IDPs. When displacements happen within Nigeria, we are not the first responders. So we're expected to come in after they're stable to be able to provide them with durable solutions so that they can go back to normalcy. So the recent adoption of the National IDP policy in 2021 by the FEC is epic, because that gives us a legal framework and clearly highlights everybody's role, including the IDPs and the host communities. The process for the domestication of the Kampala Convention as a standalone bill is also ongoing. We've been able to continue to strengthen the psychosocial support system for the Commission so that we can, because when people are displaced, they go through all kinds of trauma. So psychosocial support is key. We've begun the piloting phase for the transitional learning centers in 5 locations: Edo, Zamfara, Imo, Bauchi, FCT, and Katsina. In partnership with the National Primary Healthcare Agency, we've been able to give persons of concern access to COVID-19 vaccine and also conduct medical outreaches. With the NIDA, we've been able to, we've agreed to pilot a phase of training 10,000 persons of concerns in all areas of ICT skills. This is in line with their own vision to achieve 90% literacy for the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that has also begun. To excite ourselves and to ensure that we can be able to, achieve quickly, we've been able to introduce a few project drivers. I'll take you through a few of them. The Project Zero Hunger. The Project Zero Hunger was conceived to address the growing challenges of food insecurity. I'm sure you all agree with me that food insecurity is the greatest kind of insecurity, because when you're hungry, you're vulnerable, and you're easily accessible to the criminal minds. And we thought it was very important that we eliminated waste, because as a people, we're doing so much. But it's important that we kind of do with concerted efforts to eliminate waste, to eliminate duplication of efforts, to make it more accessible for these people. The Project Zero Hunger is also ongoing. The next project driver I would like to talk about is the Project Scale Up. So, in line with our durable solution mandate, it's just to ensure that we give them targeted empowerment and capacity building trainings to make them more self-sufficient. And in doing this, we would also partner with core service providers and experts to ensure that we're able to train them and give them a lease of new life. Like I said earlier on, in collaboration with NIDA, we've been able to start the project ICT. The agreement, we had to train 10,000 persons of concern. So far, we've been able to start with the first 500. And after the training, they get a starter pack so that they can swing into action immediately, and also they get some stipends for their data. In collaboration with iCreate Africa, we've been able to also start the piloting phase of training in the areas of cosmetology, photography, catering, welding, carpentry, food juice making, barbing, and all these are the desired interests and skills of these persons of concern. Because we realize that in the past, you kind of train them in areas that they're not interested in, so it's not sustainable. But these are interest areas for these POCs. And they're also going through a monitoring and evaluation process to ensure that there's sustainability. Another exciting project driver is the project Educate All. You all know the importance of education in building a nation, but when displacements happen, it affects the education of a child. So it's very important that we started the piloting phase of our transitional learning centers, which would work in line with the approved curriculum for learning in emergencies. So we started the transitional learning centers in about 5 locations as well. To complement it, we also launched the project library. Readers are leaders, because in as much as they go to school, it's important that they also imbibe the culture of reading. This library program would also be expanded to accommodate e-libraries so that they have the options of both and we can be able to reach more people quickly. And then finally is the project Resettlement City. When displacements happen, flood, communal clashes, people lose their homes, not just their livelihood. So we started the piloting phase of the project Resettlement City in 2020. We're now in the third phase of this project. The project Resettlement City would entail building small communities, because POCs have 3 options of durable solution. They can either locally integrate, or they can resettle, or they can go back to their homes. But sometimes they are unable to go back to their homes, and that's why there's need for building new communities or strengthening the capacity of their host communities. So like I said, we're in the third phase of our Resettlement City project. We have the pilot phases in Borno State, Kano, Katsina, Zamfara, and Nasarawa, and then Edo State. Most of them are between 70 to 90% level of completion, but the Edo State one is about to take off. I would like to present to you this very short video, that summarizes most of what I have said.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons is the federal government agency mandated to coordinate national action for the protection and assistance of persons of concern, POCs, which include internally displaced persons, refugees, migrants, asylum seekers, stateless persons, as well as returnees. The Commission's renewed vision of providing sustainable and durable solutions to POCs would ensure their full rehabilitation, resettlement, and reintegration into society. We collaborate with critical partners across public and private sectors by taking a whole-of-society approach on addressing all issues by maximizing available resources to provide succor for all POCs. Furthermore, we will continue to strengthen national response in ensuring all vulnerable persons that have suffered natural or man-made disasters are protected, assisted, and properly rehabilitated and reintegrated. The Commission is committed to effective service delivery, working on our mandate to ensure durable and sustainable solutions for all POCs. Nigeria is refuge to over 84,000 refugees from 34 countries and almost 2,000 asylum seekers, with 4 major cities, which are the Federal Capital Territory, Calabar, Benue, and Lagos states, declared refugee-friendly cities. Lagos is the most recent one, being the 287th refugee-friendly city in the world. According to the UNHCR index, we have about 3.2 million internally displaced persons who are victims of natural and man-made disaster living in host communities, and we are committed to supporting them, build resilience, and develop coping mechanisms. In implementing our national migration policy, collaborating with our migration partners, we continue to conduct voluntary returns in accordance with the SOP on return, readmission, and reintegration, while working closely around Project 5S and project drivers, namely Project Zero Hunger, Project Educate All, Project Reliance, amongst others. We will continue to work towards alleviating their conditions by providing effective migration coordination, protection, and assistance to all persons of concern while working closely with all levels of government. We invite you all to join us on this journey so far, the future of durable solutions.
Thank you so much. So at this point, I would like to highlight a few of our priorities. I'm sure if you reflect back on what I have said so far, you can see that there's a lot of work to be done, despite so much effort from whole of society, but there's still a lot more to be done. But we have highlighted a few priority areas that I would like to kind of focus on. The first one being the exit Comm strategy. We'd like to begin the first phase with FCT. We've started plans. It's very important that we have an exit plan strategy. Once upon a time, Nigeria was a very peaceful country. We didn't have a lot of this crisis, so we didn't know how to manage it. But fast forward 15 years later, 10 years later, now we must do something intentionally to address these issues. And I'm proud and happy to say that we have a sense of direction. So the exit Comm strategy will help us to shrink the numbers and to address issues of displacement. The second priority area is the review of our migration policy. It was validated in 2015. Between 2015 and now, a lot has changed in the migration space. So we'd like to validate so that we can be able to have a strengthened migration policy for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The third priority area is concerted effort in solving humanitarian crisis with a development approach. In the past, we've solved our humanitarian crisis with a humanitarian approach. It's very important we look at it as a development issue. So that is a priority. The fourth priority area is the repatriation of Nigerian refugees in Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. The process has begun. I've told you we have a tripartite with the Republic of Niger, with Cameroon, and there's an ongoing conversation with Chad and Niger to sign a tripartite. Repatriations from Cameroon has commenced. The National Action Plan on Durable Solution is also a priority, and the process has commenced. And finally, the NCFRMI bill. Ladies and gentlemen, well, I thank you all for your attention, and I wish you Eid Mubarak in advance. I'd like to thank you for listening, and we'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Federal Commissioner, for that brief and concise presentation. So while she settles down, we'll take questions. And like we always do, we'll take a first set of 4 questions, and then a second set of 4 if need be.
Thank you. Okay, no problem. I'll just on it, yeah?
Okay. Timothy? Festus? Felix? I'm a gentleman there. Okay. I'll start with you, Tim.
Thank you so much. Honorable Commissioner, my name is Timothy Choji, and I report for Voice of Nigeria. I would like to know the 3 major challenges the Commission is facing in carrying out this Herculean task. Please list them in order of preference. Thank you.
My name is Felix, and I write for Reuters. I'd just like to know how you monitor migrants, mostly from neighboring countries, countries like Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. Because some of these migrants have actually illegally obtained some instruments that makes them filtrate into the Nigerian society as Nigerians. Some of them, they do have national ID cards. They have voters register. And this is because it's easier for them, because some of them, they look like Nigerians and they speak Nigerian languages. So I would like to know how you monitor the activities and be able to find out what actually they are doing. And even some of them are even working in this country. They're even working as if they're citizens, you know. And Another one, they are into, some of them, you also see them into these bike businesses. Motorcycle, keke napep business. At least those ones are very obvious to know them. And you see that most of them have voters cards. So I would like to know how you're really going to filter them out and be able to, because I know there's a procedure for citizenship. Thank you.
Yes, mine is one clarification on what you call, my name is Sunday Ode. I work for People's Daily. I was saying that I'd like you to clarify what you mean by refugee-friendly states. And also, I want to know how long refugees are expected to stay in these these resettlement camps, or cities rather, before they exit. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. My name is Festus. I report for Ben Television. The question I have is a bit funny, and it has to do with IDPs. Sometime in 2016, I was in somewhere, Pompomari in Yobe State, and they told us that they have about 16,000 IDPs in that place. And when we got there, I couldn't count 1,000. Then I asked the person coordinating the place, he said they went to the market. I said, so about 15,000 plus went to the market. I wonder if they are still really displaced, like they claim. What makes someone a displaced person? What are the things you look out for before you can say someone is displaced? Because if I live here now, maybe I go to my village and my father does not have a house there. Can I say I'm displaced? Somewhere in Kuchingoro here, during the COVID, there was an intervention program there. And when we got there, the women there called people from the society. When I mean society, Gariki, Area 2, Area 3, that come. They have brought food for us. And those that were supposed to be leaders in those camps, they came with golf and some kind of sophisticated cars, but they are the leaders in a place that is supposed to be where those that are displaced are living. So my own finding, I've been able to find out that is now a source of livelihood for some people that just believe whenever you can no longer take care of yourself, your wife and children, there is a place where government give people food. So how will you separate the wheat from the chaff? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the questions. I think I'll take the first 4 questions, and then we can take some more if there's time. The first question from the Voice of Nigeria is the 3 major challenges that we experience as a commission. I think the major challenge is security. You know, in managing humanitarian crisis, there's some areas that you need to reach that we're unable to reach. So I think that's a major problem, because even when they're undergoing, the crisis, sometimes the places are not secured, but they also require humanitarian assistance. So I think that is the major challenge. The second challenge is the rising numbers. You agree with me that we've had an unprecedented humanitarian crisis globally. These things just keep happening. Global warming came from nowhere, and we have to manage it regardless. So I think the rising numbers is also a challenge. We have to find a way of shrinking the numbers as quickly as possible. And thirdly is funding. There's hardly any funds for anything, and they are required to be able to intervene quickly for these people. I hope that answers your question. And the second question is about monitoring of refugees in the borders. That's actually a question for the border management agencies like Immigration and Customs. Our role is when somebody comes to the border and says, I would like to seek for asylum. That's where we come in. Okay. Yeah, if they're in Nigeria and they're not seeking for asylum, then, we don't really play a role. Only maybe amongst the TWG for migration, other players would take the role because it's clearly spelled out in the migration policy. So everybody has their role. Governing citizens of the ECOWAS, citizens of the African Union. When you speak about people having voters card, it's a process to get a voters card. So I wonder how they get it. Because for you to get a voters card, yeah, false claims. So I think it's something that maybe you will have to direct to the right authorities to deal with. The third question was from Mr. Sonny, People's Daily. He said, what do we mean by the refugee-friendly cities? Like I told you, Nigeria is signatory and also has obligations and responsibilities towards the 1951 Convention. So we should offer protection and assistance to anybody who is fleeing from persecution. So these cities have been able to be hosts to refugees, and the refugees are thriving there. If you go to Calabar, they live in a community, they're welcome. And if you go to Lagos as well, the urban refugees are thriving. If you come to Abuja, the urban refugees are thriving and they're productive. Legitimate business owners in the, in the education sector, the health sector. So it means that we are actually, upholding our commitment to the 1951 Convention. And then the fourth question from Mr. Titus. He spoke about the abuse element. Oh, Mr. Festus, sorry. We have a Titus, so I'm sure that's why I'm mixing up the names. Sorry, Mr. Festus. Yes. So basically, Mr. Festus highlighted the abuse elements in IDP management. Yes, like I told you, we're not used to crisis, and then crisis came, and maybe we were intervening for IDPs without delisting them as IDPs. And the IDPs are not also used to being IDPs, so they don't know when to exit as IDPs. So I think the lapses are from both ends. So I think now is our duty to delist IDPs as we give them interventions. Because maybe those in FCT feel that until they go back to Gwaza or they go back home, they are still IDPs. But they have outgrown that phase of being displaced because they've been able to build resilience. So I think it's going to be a collective effort. And sometimes when you see them call these people, maybe they are part of the host community. But yes, I agree with you, there are abuse elements, and we're working in collaboration with even the IDPs so that there's no over-dependency on government, and they don't even feel proud becoming IDPs because they can do better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, we thank God we survived. Yes, we did. We did. And we are here, standing strong. My name is Tony I11. I write for Business Day newspaper. My question has to do with the issue of exit plan. You mentioned that one of your priority areas is the issue of exit plan. Can you take us through what those exit plans are and how much of it you have started implementing? Thank you. Next person.
I didn't forget. Good morning. My name is Dr. Leon Usigbe of the Nigerian Tribune. Madam, nearly 22,000 Nigerians have been reported missing to the ICRC during the decade of conflict in the Northeast. This is the highest number ever registered from any country with the ICRC. And when they went missing, most of them were minor. I just want to know whether you have any update on that. Where are we in that situation? You also said that urban IDPs are thriving. We have 1.5 million IDPs in Benue State. We have seen the effort of government in the Northeast and as well as Abuja, the federal capital here. What are you doing in Benue State situation? Are they also thriving? Thank you. Who is next? Sorry.
Yeah, good morning. Gloria Umezuke from Channels Television. So I just wanted to ask real quick, because I see that about 200,000 refugees are expected to be repatriated from Cameroon. Do you have incidences of Boko Haram members, repentant Boko Haram members, being part of your IDPs? Thank you.
Okay, the question from Mr. Tony, Business Dailies, he spoke about the exit strategy, exit camp strategy. So basically, for any IDP to exit a camp, he must have achieved durable solution. And he has three options: to either locally integrate, to resettle somewhere, if that is not possible, or to return home. And if home is not safe enough, then he can take the other two options. So the exit camp strategy, the process of the formulation is ongoing. We're consulting with states. We've written them to ask them for their priority areas, how we can work strongly together to be able to delist as many IDPs as possible, shrink the numbers. And like I said, from our priority list, we're going to start with the FCT because it's an easy reach. Because most of the IDPs in FCT have gone through some kind of intervention. So it's very easy to list them as IDPs and achieve durable solution in that area. So basically, that's what it means to exit camps, to achieve durable solution for the IDPs. And then the second question was about the missing people, 22,000 missing people by the ICRC. Because this doesn't fall within our mandate area in the commission. So it's not something that I'm very aware of. But I'm sure, if we direct it to the security agencies, they'll be able to give us answers. You spoke about what it means for urban refugees to be thriving, and you spoke about the 1.5 million IDPs in Benue State. I don't know how you got that figure, but I think the only state that has over 1 million IDPs is Borno State, and we have been shrinking the numbers, working alongside the executive governor. With the IDPs in Benue State, yes, we have rising numbers, and we are intervening, working with the state government, taking interventions. And this plan for exiting camps would also extend to the people in Benue State. Recently, the Commission has just opened an office in Benue State to be able to work closely with the state government and other local authorities. And then the last question from Gloria is on repatriations of refugees, and if we have Boko Haram repentant indicating interest. Okay, so when we say repatriations of refugees, they've got to be registered refugees under the Progress V4 platform with the Republic of either Cameroon, Niger, or Chad. So they are the ones that we repatriate. Yes, I've heard about Boko Haram repentance, surrendering themselves, but they tend to come back spontaneously on their own. So it has nothing to do with our commission. I hope this answers your question.
One more. So we have one more question from our online audience. Okay. And this is from Juliana Taiwo Obaloye of The Sun. Okay. She's one of our correspondents here, but she's following online. And the question is, what are you doing to raise funding for your activities, considering the paucity of funds in government generally? Are there partnerships with international organizations?
Juliana, thank you for that question. Funding is key. Without funding, it's very difficult to work at the pace that is required. So what we're doing is trying to partner with as many government agencies as possible to be able to utilize their funds for persons of concern, because there's no agency that cannot accommodate them one way or the other. SMEDEN can empower them, NIDA can train them. So every agency, the Great Green Wall, can also do interventions for them. And like I said, one of our 5 S's is resource mobilization, strategically working with whole of society. So we're reaching out to the private sector as well to play their own role. We're working with international bodies, and also on our own as a commission, we're making the most of the scarce resources to demonstrate the capacity so that we can be able to bring a lot of goodwill. Thank you very much. Well, I wish what you were saying was true. But I pray what you're saying will come true. Yes, but we have not mobilized much resources, but I'm proud to tell you that, we've been getting a lot of goodwill. For example, the UAE has promised to support our strengthening of organization by providing us with extra computers. I'm sure you know how important work tools are for the organization. NIDAL gave us about 50 computers. That helped to boost our capacity. Sometime last year, the Qatar Foundation, the Qatar government, gave us about $50,000 towards one of the learning centers, which is also ongoing. We've executed the MOU with the partners. And so we have a few resources flying here and there, and I pray that we can do more.
Thank you very much, Honorable Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and IDPs. I think in terms of numbers, I think this map here that you're seeing in terms of IDPs distribution and also the statistics on the previous slide will really help us in terms of situating the numbers that we might need for this particular briefing today. This kind of captures everything. Yes, I think IDPs distribution by states. I think Borno State has about 1.6 million there. I think that's the highest, and also a couple of other states. As you can see, most of the states in Nigeria have IDPs in terms of also responding to refugees, urban refugees and also IDPs. At this juncture, like I explained earlier, most of the members of the Presidential Communications team are either out of town or involved in one activity or the other as directed by Mr. President. So it's the onus is on me to say thank you to, first of all, the Honorable Federal Commissioner for this wonderful presentation today, as well as also recognize members of her team, Bello M. Bello, Musa Kangiwa, Titus Mudakai, Elizabeth Lalu, Shefiu Abubakar, Zainab Awal Mohammed, Brenda Abia, Sambo Ibrahim, Gloria Moebunam, Chinwe Obona, Nasiru Mohammed Abubakar, Grace Upong, Alkali Suleiman, Olanewaju Elebede, and also Zainab Ibrahim. And every other person not mentioned here, you're well recognized. Finally, I would like to say thank you to members of the Presidential Press Corps. Thank you for showing up today. We're also assuring you that all through this month, we'll make sure that all our Thursday briefings hold. And all through August too, we have a lot of activities also set in place for us. On behalf of the Presidential Communications team, we would like to thank the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and IDPs once again, and everyone who has attended this briefing today, and everyone also who has followed online. My name is Uche Ozurumba Ibe. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.